Hey. Oh wow, Crow is here? Fantastic. Wow, good job, Crow. Incredible. Good job. Okay. What am I supposed to do here? Put this up. Oh hey, see, how's it going? Discord up. All right, great. That's always good. Hey Arbitrary, how's it going? Ah, the whole gang is here. Wow. Hey, open set. Everyone, do you all know about open set? Open set. I actually prepared lecture while on open set's stream. Absolutely something unique. How do I do this? SO. All 4 of you. Look at that valuable shout out. 4 people. All 4 of you go. Including OpenSet. Go check out OpenSet. Amazing. Exactly. It won't let me follow. Oh no. It's so silly. Wow. Okay, so let me make sure I know what I'm sort of going to say today. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Huh? What is this? What is this? What is that? That's such a dumb prediction. Oh, interesting. Exciting. Yeah, it's like stoplights, exactly that. But that's a transverse intersection. NC. That's an example of a transverse intersection. We will get to in due course. Wait, who made this? Who made this? Which of my mods did this? Wow, this place. Incredible. Okay, let's start this music. Alright, everyone. I revealed it. Oh, did I reveal it too soon? It's actually 5 parts, which I It's only 5 parts because I expect we won't get beyond this if we ever do. If we do. Okay? That's a good description. NC, absolutely. I would agree. Ah. Was it arbitrary? Arbitrary, did you make that prediction? Man, I have too many mods now. They're gonna just... Oh, my God. Disaster. Alright. Let's remember, this is the intersection theory course seminar. We are going through the book 3264 and all that. My role is just to explain the trickier things that students might want to see more explanation, in-depth examples, what to focus on, what to not focus on, and I'll try my best. Target audience is someone who's already taken an elementary algebraic geometry class, varieties and affine varieties, projective varieties, basic definitions and examples, but not too much beyond that. Okay, wait, what is this? All right. So I said that what we were going to do today was language. In chapter 0, there's a section called language. I feel like we should make sure we agree and understand, at least, if not at a superficial level, more in depth, what the terms mean, the starting terms. All right. So a lot of algebraic geometry has been called a language by algebraic geometers. So it's kind of insulting sometimes when you see a language section, because the language has a lot of content. In fact, entire year-long courses, typically. So in this case, I wanted to make sure that we don't completely just skip over that in the beginning. And so I'll emphasize a couple ones. But if you have some parts that you really want me to sort of stop and give more clarification on, feel free to do that. Now, I should tell you, I'm not going to teach all of scheme theory here. It'll unnecessarily take us too far sideways. So you know, I'm not going to dig all the way down for every explanation. In fact, probably the opposite of that. Okay. So the first thing is that in this book, the word scheme, it says, is a separated scheme of finite type over an algebraically closed field K of characteristic 0. That's some language. All right, but then the next line is, in practice, all the schemes considered will be quasi-projective. So, in this book, and for us, scheme means a quasi-projective scheme over a characteristic 0 field, algebraically closed. All right. If you'd like, you can just go ahead and call this field C. You will not miss anything. All right. Quasi-projective scheme. What does that mean? Projective scheme. Projective scheme is a closed subscheme of projective space. And quasi-projective scheme means you take a projective scheme and then you pass to an open subscheme of that. Passing to the open subscheme is actually a very simple operation. You just choose an open topological subspace of your underlying topological space that every scheme comes equipped with. All right. Now, closed subscheme of projective space. What is that? Well, I'll tell you what it is at the end of the day. What this is essentially the data of a homogeneous ideal. No, closed means something else. Closed means in the sense of topology. Right. Closed subscheme means something like, means it's the vanishing locus of a bunch of polynomial equations. Now the polynomials have to be homogeneous because we're in projective space. So if you're familiar with projective space, which I hope most of the people in my target audience are, then that thing. Yeah. So it's the data of the homogeneous ideal. Now, don't do anything to the ideal, really. Don't do anything to it. Just leave it as it is. Dehomogenize it on each chart, on each standard affine open, and you'll get an affine closed subscheme in that affine open. And your total closed scheme is to be thought of as built by gluing those affines together. All right? It's one of the most basic kind of scheme that one can construct easily just by giving simple data, like a homogeneous ideal. And it's not completely an affine scheme, which is kind of boring. Right? All right. So, that's the kind of objects that we'll be facing. Essentially, open subsets of projective varieties or schemes, if you'd like. If you really are allergic to schemes, only think about literal varieties in projective space, and then I will make fun of you at precisely certain moments, and then you'll understand why we should use schemes. Why it's natural to extend to the category of schemes rather than only solution sets of equations. All right, so that's fine. Good. Are there any questions about this, the basic language, what the word scheme will mean? Because of fat points union with lines equals spiky point lines. Exactly. Those kinds of things. Or just the concept of a fat point, period. Right, AC? You don't have to union with a line. Just fat points. What is a fat point? I mean... Okay. Oh, speaking of points. The word point will mean a closed point. So only maximal ideals are relevant. Will be focused on, really, when we say the word point. None of these generic points of anything. You don't have to worry about that if you don't like those. All right? So point will mean closed point. Points which have residue field C, if you're working with C. All right? Great. What else? Any questions about this so far? I'm looking both on the Discord and here. Or I move on to point number 2. We'll see lots of schemes as we go forward. So, you know, you'll see examples if you still don't, if you're not comfortable. Quasi means open subset of a projective scheme. Good question. Means open in a projective scheme. For instance, this quadric surface is a projective subscheme of P3. If you take that quadric surface and then you remove a point on it, that's a quasi-projective variety, a complement. A quasi-projective scheme. Varieties are certain nice schemes where you don't have nilpotent functions and so on. Okay? But if you're only familiar with varieties, that's fine. Keep going. Stay with me. That's still okay. I will just laugh at certain points. You'll finally understand why he did. Okay, number 2. Sheaf will mean a coherent sheaf of OX modules, of course. All right, so what does this mean? Every one of our varieties is made out of a bunch of affine varieties or schemes. So let me explain this. So let me draw a random okay. This is a scheme or variety, whatever you'd like. Okay, is a variety. Let's just make it very simple. A variety. Now, our varieties will kind of, just like a manifold cannot be described in one go. You have to kind of use pieces of Euclidean space and always carry that with you. There's not one Euclidean space piece that your manifold is. It's several of them glued together, and it's inescapable. You have to think about multiple sides of the shape and be able to transfer from one side to the other. In the same way, arbitrary quasi-projective variety has multiple sides. It's built out of open patches, which are affine varieties. So you have this pictorially open covering of your scheme by affine schemes. Please understand that affine does not mean only affine space. In fact, one of the weird things about algebraic geometry is that the open pieces, the building blocks of an algebraic variety, there is no canonical one, like in differential geometry or complex geometry or hyperbolic geometry. There is no one building block piece that you're seeing multiple times in different places. The two different affine varieties are almost 100% incomparable and completely different. Even if they're the same dimension, both smooth, doesn't matter. So the building blocks are already interesting and filled with wonder. All right. That's exactly right, Spec R. Exactly right. For different R's. Okay. So your variety is built out of many affine pieces. And by the way, most of your varieties are built out of infinitely many affine pieces. There's no actual canonical certain ones that are better than others. It's built out of so many, just like a manifold is built out of too many open sets that are balls. All right? Same situation, just the concept of a local model is a little bit different, a bit more complicated. All right. Say this is your variety, and now I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to remind you what a sheaf is. So a sheaf, in general, is an assignment of an abelian group, or typically an abelian group. And typically a sheaf is given fancy letter. And then it has all those axioms, gluing axiom and restriction maps and so on. Okay? So what this definition is saying, so this is the super general notion of sheaf. I don't actually want to, typically an abelian group, yes. Right, this is a sheaf of abelian groups. Exactly, but sometimes with more structure, like a module. But module over which ring? That's what the concept of a sheaf of OX modules is. Because X itself comes equipped with O of X, the sheaf of rings on it. And for those who are still grappling with the concept of a scheme, I once said that a scheme is like a system of equations, a solution set of a system of equations where I remember the equations. The act of remembering the equations is what's captured by this part of the data of a scheme. All right? If you don't like it, don't worry. Just think of this, if you have a variety, as the regular functions on any given open set. That's what this sheaf of rings is. It's the regular functions. All right. And so what does this definition mean? It's saying that when they say sheaf, they mean the following kind of sheaf. They mean, so in our book, in our seminar, sheaf will mean coherent sheaf of OX modules. What does that mean? It means that in this assignment of an abelian group hanging over every open set, this thing needs to be a module over the functions on that open. And it's coherent. That has a very, very particular meaning. First of all, it's not just that it's going to be an OX module. It's going to be finitely presented, but for us, presented and generated is the same thing. It's going to be a finitely generated. So much simpler than an arbitrary module. Okay? And coherence has another important piece to it. And that is that if U is spec of a ring, if it's an affine open, then this module is M tilde for some finitely generated A module. That's what quasi-coherent means. No, without the finitely generated. And believe it or not, quasi-coherent is supposed to mean intuitively that this module makes geometric sense. Now, it actually does make geometric sense. What is M tilde? What is M tilde? Okay, so on spec A, there are various further open subsets, open affine subsets. Sorry, the sheaf. Sorry, I wrote this wrong. The sheaf restricted to U. Is that your question? I'm very sorry. Okay, so let me say what an M tilde is. Let me say what an M tilde is. Okay, on spec A, which I'll write as some like affine space, A2. There are various distinguished open subsets. In your mind, they are simply the complements of one equation set equal to 0. F equals, they're called spec AF. AF is the localization of A with respect to the element F. So if I give you a module M over A, you can immediately upgrade it to an assignment of a module systematically per each of these distinguished open subsets. Namely, to each spec AF or over, you go ahead and you assign the localized module. Exactly. And that assignment on these distinguished open subsets actually underlies an assignment, a sheaf, on all of spec A. That's all you gotta know. On the distinguished opens, what we're assigning is M localized at F. Vector fields with poles along F equals 0. You remember the example of M is the space of polynomial vectors, is the module of polynomial vector fields. What should I assign over A2 minus a circle? It should be vector fields with denominators, the equation of the circle or powers of it. Does this ring a bell, AC? It's a naive way of assigning more modules over smaller, further open sets once you start with a module over spec A. Yeah? And so you just imagine when you say sheaf on X, what we mean is a coherent sheaf of OX modules. That means whatever you've assigned, when you restrict to affine opens, you are witnessing M tildes for M a finitely generated module. Those are the kinds of sheaves we care about. All right? And that's the main kind of sheaf in algebraic geometry that's of interest. All right, awesome. So yeah, you should think about the example of M equals polynomial vector fields on A2, then M tilde equals the sheaf of rational vector fields. Meaning, what is this sheaf on a distinguished open? It's like vector fields where you allow denominators in the coefficients of ddx and ddy, but the denominators are one function equal to 0. Okay, so fu is localization of some m. Yeah, when you have a sheaf, you can restrict it to an open subset. F restricted to a spec A type of U is isomorphic as a sheaf to M tilde for some A module. See, this is a sheaf, technically, and this is only one module. Remember, a sheaf is an insanely enormous amount of information, too much to fit in your brain. In fact, all you should do when you encounter a sheaf is you should start plugging in specific open sets, and then you'll get one module out at a time. Right? Remember this. Good. Exactly. All right. And by the way, assigning M sub f over A sub f is actually the most simple-minded thing if you think about what you would do in this polynomial vector fields example. Which vector fields will you allow on the complement of the x-axis other than the ones that came from all of A2, the regular ones? If you're forced to include more, which ones would you allow? You would allow exactly those that have denominator y. Powers of y. Yes, small example, exactly. All right, so let's take A2 as x. All right? So this is spec of C adjoint xy. Now I'll take a module, M. M is the module of polynomial tangent vector fields. Yeah? So this will be the set of it's a free module. It's just a free module, but we know what we have a geometric understanding of what it means, right? What is this vector field? Just think of R2 if you're lost. All right, just think of R2. Don't worry. Think of R2 and then polynomial and xy, only polynomial vector fields. We're in algebraic geometry. Yeah? Okay. So now take f of xy equals your favorite polynomial. I don't know. X squared plus y squared minus 1. Circle. It's just, we're over C, so it's not clear what you mean by circle, but whatever. All right? Take your arbitrary favorite polynomial, and now look at the distinguished open corresponding to that. I'll try to draw it. I mean, it's one of these algebraic geometry cartoons that doesn't make any real sense. But it does carry some intuition. You see, I've removed that circle. It's everything outside that circle. That's what this open set is. Now, over this open set, I am asking you to hang in the data of this sheaf M tilde. I'm simply requesting that you attach this set. Sorry, F. Now, that's right. That's the localization. Spec of the localization. Absolutely. Localization of a single element. That's right. So, what you do here now is you assign that. But because this is M sub f. This is M sub f by what localization means of a module. Especially a free module, right? Yeah. But what is this? And now go back and say why. Well, is this M tilde type assignment natural? It's absolutely natural. It's so simple. It's naive almost. Okay, because what you're saying here is on this open set, what counts as a vector field in my game? Oh well, I don't know. I don't know how big are the vectors getting near there? Do I want to bound their norm? L2 norm. Blah blah blah. Do I want the integral to be finite around? No. None of this garbage. No. Just do this. Slap some poles in there along f equals 0, and that's it. Declare that's what you mean. That's all the vector fields that count on this complement. Those are the regular ones, according to me. According to this coherent sheaf, these are the sections. Coherent sheaves make a lot of... They're actually simple. They're actually like... All you do is assign poles along the thing you took away. Just attach poles, possible poles. Right? That's all you do. And that's what you hang over this open set. And then that system of assignments on these distinguished opens constitutes a sheaf on the Zariski topology on this A2. Right? Sheaf of polynomially vector fields on A2. Make sense? This example? Yeah. M tilde is actually a simple-minded assignment when you start with an assignment over the whole spec A. When you have, what's OX? OX is A tilde. Yeah, but it's a sheaf. Exactly, like a log. CXY is the assignment over the entire A2. So OX is trying to be the collection of regular functions. Functions allowed. What are the functions that we allow on A2? Well, in our subject, it's the polynomials. Okay, and for spec A, the functions are by declaration A, the ring A. Right? We just declare it. Don't ask why. That's just part of the computer program. But then you have a question, oh, but now when you look at the open set spec A sub f, what are the regular functions there? What kind of ingenious thing are you going to do? Well, you allow poles along the set that you removed. That's it. That's all you, that's it. Just do these. These are the functions now. That's what regular function on that open set means. I'm just declaring. That's the subject. Okay? So all the localizations of a ring and all the localizations of a module are just placed systematically. over the corresponding open subsets of spec A? Good question. Not all open subsets of an affine are distinguished. However, there's a there's like a general, not something you should waste your time on, way of upgrading assignment like this on a base of a topology to a sheaf on the entire collection of open sets. So the critical information here is that this is providing what's called a sheaf on the base of the topology. Upgrades uniquely to a sheaf, to an honest sheaf. Yes, okay, exactly. So this is all that, and you don't have to know it as well as we don't have to go to this level of detail. It's just that a coherent sheaf is on the basic building blocks of a variety. It's assigning a finitely generated module. Okay, that's over the ring of functions on that open set that you're investigating. That's the bottom line. And those are the kinds of sheaves we'll be interested in. All right? Good. I think this is a good amount of zooming into that particular piece of language. No, it's good. Let's do the next one. Let's move to the next one. V equals spec of sim of V dual. And then I'll talk about what P of V is. All right, let's do that. Language. Bit of language. So V is a vector space. Now, of course, you're wanting to say that V is an affine space of dimension, okay, let's say n dimension. You're very tempted to say that V should be thought of, can be thought of, as affine n space, and you're right. Meaning the closed points of affine n space. Okay, however, you can then ask, what is the coordinate ring of V? And the answer is the following ring. It's the symmetric algebra on the dual vector space. Okay, I write this in short as V equals spec of sim of V star. What do I want to emphasize about this? The point here is that coordinates are dual to locations. Very important principle. Super important principle. This principle will help you navigate when a certain dual shows up in an in some setting. You'll remember this, me telling you this. Locations are dual to coordinates. What is sim? I'll get to sim. Yeah. Sim is a very simple tensor product-y type construction. Okay. So let me explain this. If you were to choose a basis, yeah, it's a simple, yeah. If you were to choose a basis of V, let's just E1 En equals a basis. If you were to choose a basis of V, then you can label all the locations by n tuples of numbers, like in linear algebra class. And the locations, which is just V, right? Look, V equals locations in V equals n tuples of elements, like and what you really mean is this is the vector sum of AI, EI, or whatever. However that works, right? Very complicated. Now, what is a coordinate? I'll tell you an example of a coordinate. x1. But what does x1 really mean? x1 measures the first entry of a location. x1 is not a1. x1 is the act of recording the a1. x1 is an element in the dual vector space. It is called the dual basis element, dual to E1, right? Typically, it's called E1 star, typically, or whatever. Coordinates are dual to locations. They are measurements on locations, right? Good. Okay, so now, if you think of affine space as n tuples of numbers, then you want to say that the coordinate ring is x1 up to xn, should be the coordinate ring. But this is a polynomial ring generated by just these coordinate functions. That's what symmetric algebra generated by a vector space means. You take a basis of that vector space and just write down polynomial expressions in those basis elements. They're technically tensor symbols. All right? That's it. It's symmetric algebra means use a basis if you'd like. You don't have to, but it's just concrete. And then take the symmetric algebra, meaning take all polynomial expressions and linear combinations of them. All right, just like this is the symmetric. This is sim of the vector space of this vector space. No homogeneity condition. No, the full symmetric algebra. It's true that the symmetric algebra is graded. It's true. But in this discussion right now, we're not concerned about that, right? Because arbitrary polynomials are functions on affine space, right? Arbitrary polynomials, whether they're homogeneous or not, are regular functions on regular old affine space V. Good. All right. And by the way, locations are dual to coordinates. This is why the arrows get reversed when you pass from solution sets, varieties, to their coordinate rings. Because locations are dual to coordinates. Dual. The arrows go the other way. Okay? So this is for you to remember forever. Why is the category of affine schemes have all the arrows reversed from the category of commutative rings? It's because you're passing from the locations, the like scheme, the topological space thing, the solution set type thing, to the coordinate ring, the ring itself. So when you do that, the arrows go the other way. A map between two vector spaces, V1 to V2, induces a backwards map from V2 dual back to V1 dual, just by composition of functions. Okay? Defined as composition of functionals. Composition with a functional. All right, great. So coordinates are dual to a thing, and that's why the original vector space, viewed as a collection of locations as a variety, is actually spec of the dual vector, symmetric algebra of the dual vector space. The polynomial algebra for the dual vector space. Great. All right. Any questions about this? Do you want me to define symmetric algebra of a vector space more rigorously? Is that okay? Or do you want me to? Just let me know. We're good with that discussion. That's good? Okay. It's a very simple thing. You just write formal polynomial expressions. All right, P of V. What does the book mean by projective space over V, of a vector space V? Let's talk about that. When you have a vector space, the book says P of V is the space of lines within V. Now, you might say, well, duh, that's how it always is. And you might even say, as a set, equals V minus the origin mod scaling. Of course, this is the same. Of course. That's what it's always been. Correct. The reason why this is coming up in the language thing, that projective space is the space of one-dimensional directions through the origin, right? RPN was directions through the origin and Rn plus 1. The reason why it's coming up is that there was something that happened in the 70s, maybe, when Grothendieck kind of cleaned up the field, or really set the language once and for all in a very systematic way. And it turns out, for reasons that we won't be worried about quite yet, it turns out that it's actually technically more... there are certain technical moments where it's more convenient to define the projectivization of V, this P of V, to be the space of one-dimensional quotient spaces rather than one-dimensional subspaces. That's why the book is bringing this up. That's why it's like, of course, this is what P of V should mean. It's to projective directions through the origin in a vector space. Yes. Yes. And it's saying that that's what we're going with. Okay? We're going with that. We're not doing the Grothendieck convention. Now, I should just tell you, an expert will be able to juggle these totally fine. However, I'll be completely honest, the one we're going with, makes way more geometric sense. Oh, it's like one-dimensional. It's like directions through the origin. Yeah, it kind of feels better. All right, so that's That's one of the reasons why many people will still prefer to phrase everything in terms of the pre-Grothendieck conventions. All right, and Joe will always use pre-Grothendieck conventions. I've never seen him even try to write something with post-Grothendieck. Makes sense. You know, you learn the ropes one way, and you don't want to be off by a sign. You can be off by a sign if you start swapping. How do you know every vector space has a lot of them one-dimensional subspaces? In fact, just choose a random. Your name is Tensors Are Dumb. Choose a dumb old vector, v, little v. And then take its span. Now, you want to make sure you want to make sure you don't choose a dumb vector. Tensors are dumb, so you got to make sure you choose the origin, not the origin. Make sure you choose not the origin, and then span it. Span that thing. Okay? Now, when are two choices going to give you the same span? It's precisely if v1 equals k times v2 for some k in cross. And so that's why, I mean, there's so many one-dimensional subspaces of a given vector space. It's just, they're all over the place. Okay? You simply choose a vector and then span. Take the line through the origin, through that vector. There's just too many. There's just too many of these subspaces of a given vector space. Unless your vector space is one-dimensional, then there's only one dot. If it's okay, so that's what projectivization is. Taking a vector space, removing the origin, and modding out by scaling. All you get is the data of directions through the origin. Awesome. Great. So that's number 3, and now it's 6:53, so now I have to just... Okay. So I definitely can't do 4 right away. But then I can't really do justice to 5. Okay, what I'll start to talk about, or I'll just ask you if you're comfortable with, is the concept of a vector bundle. Are people comfortable with the concept of a vector bundle? All right, I'll just ask this question. Are you okay with this concept? Just let me know. Okay, good. No, good. Yes, good. Yes? Have you seen it elsewhere in a tangent bundle? No. That means you know one specific vector bundle. Great. That's fantastic. A very naturally occurring vector bundle. Good. Good. Let me give you an example of a very important, 2 examples of a vector bundle. Okay, Pandemic, that's great. Okay, so let me give you 2 examples of a vector bundle. So let's say we have a variety, and let's take projective space, projectivization of a vector space. Okay? So, for example, V could be, you could choose coordinates, and V could be, C 10. So this is P9. Yeah, that's how we write when we want to specify numbers. It's 9-dimensional. That's why we put 9 next. It has homogeneous coordinates. You describe an element with 5 numbers with colons in between, right? Those are elements. And this is essentially the column vector a1, e1 plus an, en in the vector space, but viewed up to scale now. So that's why we put brackets. And we don't put zeros all the way. Yeah? Okay. I'll show you a vector bundle over this thing. And this vector bundle is going to be there for all varieties. You take x, for example, and you take the product with v viewed as affine space. Product. Or just any old vector space. Any old affine space viewed as a vector space. Or did I say that the right way? And I just think about the first projection map. This is a trivial vector bundle. Of rank 10 in this example. Notice that it's just a product map. It's just a product and you're mapping down to one factor. And so every fiber, every pre-image of this map is simply the vector space V again. It's just naturally the vector space V. In that sense, it's trivial. It's kind of the vector space isn't moving in any sense, twisting around or anything. It's just a product, trivial, of rank 10. You want a rank 11 vector bundle? Trivial? Just cross it with another vector space of dimension 11. Just product. Those are the simplest vector bundles. Now, I'll describe for you an interesting vector bundle. In fact, it's an example of what we call a line bundle. A vector bundle of rank 1. The first interesting types of vector bundles are the ones that are one-dimensional vector spaces at each point. Okay, I'll show you an example. Inside of this trivial vector bundle, you will find a particular subset. It's typically denoted S. And it will be called S in this book, I believe. It is the collection of pairs. Actually, can anyone guess? A nice, very elegant subset of this particular product now. It's very important that I'm producting with V itself, the vector space. Can someone guess a very elegant subset of this product now? The projectivization across the vector space itself. Ordered pairs. Anyone? This is interactive. It's a very natural subset. I'll say it, yeah, we'll have to go through the definition of what the bundle means. But it means, essentially it means locally, it looks like a product. That's what bundle usually means. Exactly. Span of that vector. Exactly right. So on the left-hand data, there is a subspace. Lambda. So what you should write on the second vector is, well, the second hand is a vector. Such that this vector is in the span, is in that lambda. That totally parses. Now, if you really look at this, what you do now is you consider the first projection. And you ask, what do the preimages of various points in the first projection look like? How does this object S look as an object over projective space? It is going to look like a bunch of lines. Is lambda. The fiber over the point lambda is the line lambda. So this is an example of a line bundle, because over each of these points, pictorially, over each point, you're getting a line. Right? And this line, you know, in your mind is kind of moving a lot. In fact, it's kind of, if I choose a direction, it's the line through my eyeball. It's this line bundle. I don't know how to describe it. It's this one. You guys seeing it? It's like literally right in front of you at all times. You're kind of looking down it all the time. It's that line bundle. Does this make sense? He gets it. Or she. Who is that? Yes. This is called the tautological line subbundle. It's like this one. You get it? That one. Canonical line bundle. Terrible. Terrible choice of words. We will never call this the canonical line bundle. Good, Tayo. Yeah, we will never call it the canonical line bundle, because that has a completely different definition. Okay, good. Oh yeah, the canonical line bundle is the top wedge power of the cotangent bundle of any given variety or anything. Okay, that's what will be called the canonical bundle. Yeah, and this tautological line is not the canonical bundle of projective space. In fact, you have to take this line and tensor it with itself dimension of v number of times before you get the canonical line bundle of projective space. Okay, good. Tautological. Because its definition was so, like, innocent and elegant. Elegant. We should call it the elegant line bundle that projective space naturally points to. Okay? This line bundle has another name. It's also called, in the literature, O of -1. Okay? It's also called O of -1. All right. Now, what is that? This looks like a sheaf. Look, you used the special sheafy language. That's because there is a dictionary between line bundles, or vector bundles more generally, on an object, on a variety X, and locally free sheaves of OX modules, of course, on X. There's a dictionary. Okay? No. We didn't talk about this dictionary. This dictionary will probably happen next on Wednesday. So we didn't talk. You didn't miss anything really. This you missed these things, but this dictionary is absolutely essential for all students to get down, to really believe at least. And I'm telling you that S on this side corresponds to the sheaf called O of -1, which has its own independent definition. When X is projective space. And the trivial bundle? Trivial vector bundles correspond to the free sheaf. Oh, the structure sheaf raised to direct sum n times. That's not just locally free, folks. That's globally free. Okay, so that's what this dictionary does for special kinds of sheaves on one side, vector bundles on the other. Is the projection map to PV part of the data of the vector bundle? Absolutely. Yes. In fact, every time you see the word bundle being used, it'll be that there's an object and another object and a map between them. This is going to be called a bundle. A blah, 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 blah bundle. It's always the whole thing. And this will be called usually the base. Okay? And this will typically be called the total space. Okay, like a log, good. All right. What else? Oh wow. Your drama, the chat. What else? What else? What's O of O? O of O is O. Pandemic. O of 0 is the structure sheaf. Pandemic. Good question. Very good question. I never thought about that, but yeah, O of O is O. Very good. This is kind of like fractional ideals equipped with a basis. So locally free rank 1 locally free sheaf is slightly less information than a fractional ideal, but it's not important less information. In the case of X being spec of a ring of integers. Absolutely right. Yes. That's an example of a locally free sheaf on spec of the ring of integers. Rank 1. Fractional ideals. That's it. In fact, those are exactly the same. Up to some mild equivalence that we don't have to worry about. Yeah, but Skugget, I'm very surprised that that one came to you. I have to say, that's a very. I mean, that insight took what 100 some odd years to sink in. So you've got really good intuition, man. Yeah. All right. That's actually part of the story of unifying algebraic number theory and commutative algebra and algebraic geometry under the into the modern subject that it is. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought, Skugget. That's what I thought. Good. Good. We appreciate honesty in this chat. Good, good. Oh, good. Phew. I was like, wow, Skugget, man. Amazing. Great. Okay. Wow, what a relief. It's like, I was going to hand it over to Skugget. I was like, Skugget, you should be teaching us. Man, this is just, to see that connection right away. Wow. All right. Next, what's next, folks? I'm not going to continue because it's out of respect for the audience. So let's think about what I should do next. Discord people, tell me what you want out of this list, what we should focus on. But here's what I propose. I propose that we go through the dictionary between locally free sheaves of OX modules and vector bundles. The both direction arrows. One direction is easy, other direction less. Okay? So I propose that we do this. It will be boring, but at least I'll be able to show you, because, yeah, it's actually part of the most important, one of the very important dictionaries to be comfortable with. It is language at the end of it. We treat it like language. And then maybe discuss this example. Maybe, if you'd like. Yes, transition functions. Yes. This dictionary is also called, transition function. The reason why both sides are the same is because both sides are held by transition functions. That's the most one-line way I can say it. That's why they're both there. That's why there's a dictionary. Okay, but I should maybe talk about that. I really don't want to bore people, especially the Australians. They're probably not awake. But anyway, all right. And then once we have that language, I can say what a linear system is. Linear systems are what classical algebraic geometers would always talk about. But to understand what it is will require comfort with the concept of a line bundle. So we have to become So what do you need? Let's take a step back. What you need in order to do this, in order to understand how to operate the machinery, what you need is a fluency with vector bundles, manipulating them, mapping one to another. Okay, you need to have fluency with the language of vector bundles. All right? Because, let's go back. Enumerative geometry is finding the number of solutions when there's a finitely many. And there are 4 stages. There's setup. Figure out an appropriate variety, ambient one, to discuss your problem. 2, each condition involved in the problem will give birth to closed subvarieties of P. But typically, closed conditions come from vector bundles. They're like the primary source of closed conditions. Closed conditions will be most elegantly and easily phrased in terms of vector bundles. So that's why you have to become comfortable with the vector bundle, what a vector bundle is, some examples, etc. All right? Okay, and then forget the rest of the steps for now. Okay, great. Okay, so we will go slow because the students that I have in mind are too important to me to just leave in the dark. So I will make sure I am not just ramming through and getting to, using language that no one, the students I care about don't know, don't understand. So that's why Wednesday will be this for sure, and this, and examples of these. I think that will be the bulk of Wednesday. All right. Good. All right, so what happens? Hey, folks, what happens at the end of lecture? What happens? What happens at the end of lecture? Okay, there you go. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. All right. So who's first in line for their dopamine? It's tensors. Tensors. Okay, who else? Femvox. Welcome. Pandemic. I don't know what you said, but hello. Somehow it censored you. Okay, I don't know how to say your name, Red. I'll just call you Red. What happened here? It's go good. A resident genius. Awesome. All right, who else? NC. Hey, folks. Wait, were there shoutouts? Hey, folks. Okay, NC streams. Who else streamed? NC streams Mathematica. Did I get it right? Okay. Tayo, of course. I mean, I don't think I have to shout Tayo out, but Tayo streams basically all mathematics, which is, in my experience, typically de Rham cohomology and quaternions. Next. Oh, and Tayo is here, of course. And lambda calculus. Yes, exactly. Okay, Kevin. Hey, Kevin. I haven't seen you. I have not seen you in a while. Eats tangerines on stream with the peel. With the peel. That was insane. Oh, really, Kevin? Oh, really? Great. We need more math teachers. Wonderful. Good job. It's like a new job or something? Like, it's a new job or? Oh, that's good. Awesome. Congratulations. That's wonderful. That's really cool. Wow. Hey, we've got our mods. Speaking of jobs, you know, high-paying jobs. Got our mods. Arbitrary was here. I saw you. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Hey, are you teaching? Are you teaching in person, Kevin? Okay, who else is here? Big Doodaz. Okay. Big. All on Zoom. All right, see ya, AC. See you on tomorrow, right? See you tomorrow. Oh, really? Interesting. Which is starting like soon? Like within weeks or days or Kevin? That's cool. That's interesting. Like a log, of course. Like a log. Thanks for the questions. Who else? That's it. That's actually it. That's the whole. Yeah, you got it. Okay, you can leave. You can leave like lock. You can leave. Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think these are all the people. I think I didn't miss anyone. Wait, leg before wicket. LBW. That's an Australian. Okay? LBW is an Australian for sure. No doubt about that. LBW. Maybe next month. I say, hey, Shaquille Oatmeal. Oh my God. Auntie. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to figure out which auntie you are, but thank you. Thanks, auntie. All the aunties and uncles. Oh my God. Giving me my birthday money. That's so good. Is it weird? Oh yeah, now we can just do. By the way, folks, if you want, we can just do random questions about graduate school life, whatever. I thought that might be a good thing to do to wind down stream. If you have questions about graduate school, math, being a mathematician, what it's like, what graduate school is like, it seems like people really have questions about that. I've seen elsewhere, so you can feel free to ask me that too. Is it weird that this PhD program is still requiring the subject GRE for this application season? You know, I'm not actually on admissions this year, so I don't know what we're doing to relax that. But I assume that we are relaxing it, that most people are relaxing it. So yeah, I would say yes. It's a little bit odd. I would say. Oh no, is the... Oh, Kevin. Oh, I see. Wow. See, there you go. Then you know, NC. Then you know the answer. Yeah, that's my intuition too, NC. Seems a little bit wow. A little bit harsh. How do you even take a GRE? That must be the most miserable experience with the GRE. Although I took my GRE in some random village in Russia. It's not comparable, but it was depressing. All right. Are math masters worth it? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not going to touch that one. Feynman. Nice try. Classic Feynman. Troll. Wait, LBW. Who are you addressing? Who are you addressing? Is that you're addressing Feynman? All right. Look at these wonderful people. I guess Feynman makes it right at the end. Ah, Christopher. Christopher, right there. Christopher wants a little bit of music. Anyone who doesn't want to take subject GRE, go to Australia, apparently. That's one way around it. Almost like, yeah, that's going quite far around it. Almost as far as you can go. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Okay, ready? Okay, I think I've forgotten Jurassic Park. It used to be good, but Christopher, that was, dude. I haven't been practicing. That was Jurassic Park. It's getting bad. It's getting really bad. But maybe I'll be playing more because my Calc 3 class, I'm more of a clown and I play the recorder more, maybe. So maybe I'll get better. I'm sorry, Christopher. I owe you one. I'm really sorry. Sorry, I owe you one. Did you recognize it a little bit? Or could you hear it a little bit in there? Okay. We've got two teachers' pets today. The first one I've long forgotten. Well, who was it? I don't remember. But this one is now NC. NC, you've made such Oh, Lauder. Lord of the Rings. Yeah. That was a good one. That was well executed. Thank you anyway. Look at that. Thank you anyway. No punctuation. Like, you could tell Christopher just closed his computer right after he typed that. Thank you anyway. And then just like left. Wow. That's really good. All right. You were getting closer to Harry Potter vibes? Aren't you in the UK though, Skugget? Aren't you UK? So that's probably why. Yeah. So you're always getting Harry Potter vibes. All right. Have you had regrets pursuing math? No. Is there something else you would have liked to do? I think there's like always something else one wants to do. That's like, isn't that like life and all that? So I kind of factor that out because isn't that's like, I feel like that's something you have to work off of that. But do I have regrets? No. But you have to understand that for me, it was pretty clear early. And I know that it's not exactly like that for everyone. Yeah, it's what Femvox says. Yeah. Yeah, I hear that, Shaquille, Auntie. So Shaquille Auntie, I know what you're saying. I hear it a lot that you can always use your math degree and go to NSA and do crypto or whatever. Now, I think it's not so straightforward, at least anymore. The population of math PhDs, what have you, has increased. And so it's not like a shoe-in or something. And in fact, it's unclear whether they want someone who doesn't have a math degree, but is really, really capable with like Python. I don't think it's an easy decision at this point. In fact, I think the game is pretty much up when it comes to math people I squint at who went into industry, and I'm like, wait a second. Wait, hold on. Wait. They're working on what now? Wait, they're working for a what? No. It's always been confusing to me, like what it is those people like want, and it's like some kind of soft skill of like someone who can learn really fast or something. But I don't think it's so clear anymore whether they want that over someone who already knows how to code lines and lines and is a CS major, for example, undergrad. Yeah. So I think it's not as easy as like you can go into this after math. I don't think it's so clear anymore. Yes. Oh yes, red? Yes. Yes. I do know people like that. Oh, what percent? You were wondering what percentage of the planet knows the calculus? I don't know. Pandemic. What did you? What was your conclusion? Wait, what is this? What it's? Have you had regrets? I could hear it. It might not be 1%. 1%? That seems... Okay, what do you mean by no? What's the definition? What is the definition? What is the what does the word is mean? What is the quote? Oh my god. Can you help me with the quote? Oh my god. So cringe. Something Bill Clinton. Yeah. Hey, everybody, do you know Band HC? Did you know this? Band HC. World expert Dota player. No, it's the other one. It's the other one. No. Nope. It's this one. Right? Right? So yeah. I forget. Do you stream? I forget. Depends on what the meaning of the word is. There you go, Shaquille Auntie. Thank you. No. 12%. 12%, you think? LBW? How do you guys know these things? Incredible. Very smart. It's pretty low. Yeah. Oh, it was a bad joke? Well, that was really... I mean, it seemed... Yeah, it seems like it was a really bad joke. Good job. Yellow 2. Cool. Not... Yeah, 12%? No, I don't... Okay, take the portion of... Okay, this chat is just going... Okay. Yes, chat? Okay, let's see. We're gonna get the answer here in a second. Right, Crow. That's a good question. And then, which proportion of high school students take calculus then? But then, a lot of students take it in college. I guess it's more typically taken in college, I guess? Yeah, I guess there aren't that many. But I don't actually know what one means when they say, does someone know calculus? Like, do they know... Have they at one point in their life differentiated something? And memorized the power rule? Is that what you mean? I feel like that might actually be more than 12%. No? Is that ridiculous? I don't know. Okay, Femvox. Australian? Wow, you're gonna fit right in here. Good. Like, have you met him? He's a very famous general. Oh, that's really cool, Fembox. Man, all over the place here. In the UK, students only learn calculus if they're opted into maths A levels. I learned about the A levels in Harry Potter. Scug it. I know that. Like when Ron was studying, I remember now. Yeah, owls. Yeah, owls. Oh, man. I always get like nostalgia feelings from thinking about Harry Potter. Hey, wow, Flutter Dev. Who's that? Where have you been this whole time? Just suddenly out of nowhere. Welcome. Here, you get to make it you made it in the credits today. And a hurdler. Fantastic. Okay, look at this. Look at this credits. Okay, tensors are functorial. Femvox. Pandemic. Red. Okay. Right. Oh, of course, Flutter. Of course. That's what they all say. Here you go, Flutter. This is... You feeling it? That right through the fusiform gyrus in the encephalital valve. You feel that dopamine? Yes, science. Feel that? Yeah. How do you pick your credits color? Do you pick the color of their name in chat? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, basically. Yeah. But then for yours, I don't. I take the compliment, obviously. And also, do you get your haircuts at home? Or do you go to a barber? Very funny. Very funny. It's, well, since COVID, it was at home. Can you tell? Good job. Good job. Yeah. Prefrontal cortex. That's right, Christopher. That's right. Oh, oh. Let's not talk about it. Really? Shaved? Like, or buzzed? That's quite a buzzed. I once shaved my head all the way because in middle school there was something called National History Day. Do you guys? You did too? Pandemic? Do you guys know National History Day? Probably not. Hey, Guepi. Hi. National History Day was a national competition where every year there was like a prompt, and the schools had to choose like, 5 people to act out a skit that sort of was about that prompt, and it had to be about historical event. And of course, the English teacher looked at me and said, "You should be Mahatma Gandhi." It was a different time, folks. It was just totally different time. But yeah, we did really well. We did good. I didn't do the swimmer cap. We tried to do swimmer cap and then paint it like the right color. And it just looked like I had these ridges. Like, you could see the like ripples of my head. It was not gonna work. So then all the way, and loincloth and everything, the stick. Actually one of my favorite times in life. We were really into it. We practiced so hard. Yeah. We went all the way to state finals. And then we lost some private schools. We lost hard. Incredible. We were really bad at it, apparently. Really, Tayo? Maybe it's because they spelled it wrong like you did. Is that why? They were like, wow, fuck this statue. They spelled Gandhi wrong. Sorry. No, it's the most common misspelling that happens. I'm pretty sure that's probably one of the most common misspellings. Yeah, fan. You should call me State Finals Gandhi. Exactly. Wait, but Tayo, I'm actually interested in that story. Like, what? There's 2 reasons I could imagine to vandalize and tear down that statue. Like, which was it? A left reason or a right reason? Like, political spectrum wise. It was left, because you're from Northern California. Like, okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, so it must be left. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. Yeah. Gath is here. What the hell? Come on. Yo. Hey, everyone. Do you want to see how online education ought to be done? High level. very detailed and thorough. I just don't understand sometimes. Check out Gath. No no joke. In fact, don't check it out. I mean, it's that canvas page, man, every time. And now Gath, of course, is a mod here. Gath. Greenish. Yeah, gang's all here. All right. What an all-star gang here. All stars. Wait, where's Tayo? All right. Schmonite. Okay, now I'm gonna put an end to this. This is the end. Wait, I guess BPS is here. And we should end with Schubert. $5.8 trillion. Twisted cubics, which is just a type of projective variety in P3. Tangent. 12 general quadric surfaces. Another type of projective variety in P3. Just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Good work, Schubert. All right. Okay, just say bye. Megalomorph. Okay, I'll see. Oh my. Leave, everyone, leave. Hard finish.